Welcome! Time has no meaning here. Your pain will be endless. Be judged! You stand victorious. Your heart's desire. The Atlas provides your addiction.
Hello everyone, in this video I'd like to showcase my ED Blight Trickster build that I've been playing in the Metamorph League to tackle all the new content introduced in the 3.9 patch. I will quickly go over how the build works and explain a few things during this map run, and after that I will get more in depth and talk about the gear, the gem setup, the flask setup, and tell you how I leveled up this build. This is pretty much a traditional ED Contagion Blight Trickster build, but it focuses a lot more on the defensives to tackle all the new bosses and overtuned Metamorphs introduced in this patch. I usually play a lot of hardcore, so I always try to make builds as safe as possible, and that can be very budget, but can also have a high ceiling when it comes to endgame gear and min-maxing. The build revolves around the Trickster Ascendancy, utilizing the Ghost Shroud's Ascendancy and stacking a lot of evasion to recover as much ES as possible and also be semi-stun immune as the Chaos Inoculation character. But here comes the fun part. The build is also max block and spell block with 70% evade chance, as well as a 50% that can go up to 68% spell dodge, giving us insane survivability. But wait, there's more. We achieved max block utilizing a Lethal Pride with a Killua leadership, giving us Glancing Blows Keystone, doubling our block and spell block chance, making us reach that 75-75 mark a lot easier. Now you might ask yourselves, but why max block? Well, we're utilizing a Shaper or Crusader influence modifier that can be found on shields, giving us up to 5% energy shield when we block, making us recover a lot of ES when we get hit, paired with Ghost Shrouds, which is an additional 4% of our evasion rating. In order to reach almost capped spell dodge, we need to pick up phase acrobatics, but not pass through acrobatics, as that would reduce our energy shield and block, which we don't want. Instead, we're utilizing one of the new Awakener unique jewels called the Thread of Hope with a small ring radius to not only grab phase acrobatics without passing through acrobatics, but also grab 2 additional nodes such as Hunter's Gambit and Silent Steps that will greatly increase our damage and survivability for only 2 skill points. Please note that the small radius is very important to the nodes we need to pick up. Do not get a bigger one. Alright, let's get into the gear. So for my helmet, I'm using a Hubris Circlet with Malevolence has 15% reduced mana reservation, and I crafted this one using Dense Fossils and Aberrant Fossils in order to get as much energy shield as possible and have the nearby enemies have negative chaos resistance. For the chest piece, I'm using a Sadist Garb, which is the highest evasion ES hybrid chest piece that you can get, and I spammed this one with Dense Fossils until I've achieved as much evasion and energy shield as possible, with some additional resistances. My belt is just a Stygian Vice belt with a socket because I needed an additional jewel socket with as much energy shield as I could have gotten, including the increased energy shield from body armor, which can be acquired from a dense fossil. Now I did get also some resistances, which is always nice to have on it. Now, my gloves are crafted with Essence of Delirium. You want to craft these in order to have your Val Blight set up in it so it can help you with your single target, and you want to aim as much energy shield as possible on them and potentially some resistances. Now, side note, I did a Hunter Exalted Slammed with 12% chaos damage over time multiplier, but you do not need that. Now, my wand has pretty shitty stats, not optimal, but it works for now. What you want to have on it is chaos damage over time multiplier, despair on hit, and +1 all chaos skill gems. Now I couldn't get the +1, so I just went for increased damage and some effect duration. The rings that I'm using is a Dream Fragments for chill and freeze immune, as well as a hefty amount of cold resistance and some mana regeneration, and a 2-stun rare ring to increase our resistances, energy shield, and potentially you would want to have a free suffix so you can craft minimum frenzy charge to increase with your damage and clear speed. Now for my amulet, what you want to have a hunter base, item level 82, preferably a citrine base since the build is very strength starved. And you want to get chaos damage over time multiplier as well as the +1 to all level of intelligence skill gems on it. Once you have that, you can then get increased maximum energy shield and minimum frenzy charge on it if you can achieve it. Now my boots are absolutely garbage. I'm only using them for the hefty amount of ES and resistance that they give me, but optimally what you want to have is you want to have sorcerer redeemer boots with additional dodge chance modifier on them as well as the dodge chance enchant. I will link on the side the dream variant of these boots. Now the shield, you will need to use an awakener orb in order to craft this, but pretty much you need to have a shaper and a crusader shield which have each their own modifier onto them. So for example, the shaper shield needs to have spell block damage chance, and the crusader titanium spirit shield needs to have recovery 5% energy shield on block. The way you do this, you use the awakener orb on the shaper shield and then you transfer it onto the titanium spirit shield, and then it will merge the two mods together. Remember, you only can have one influence mod on each item in order to guarantee the mods that you're looking for. And then if you're lucky, you're going to get a hefty amount of ES on it from just slamming it together. If not, you're going to have to pretty much multi-mod the way I did for the two energy shield affixes. Now for flasks, I'm using a quartz flask of warding for curse immune, a stibnite of grounding for shock immune, and an alchemist quicksilver of adrenaline for zoom zooms, experimenter's jade flask of reflex for as much evasion and duration as possible, as well as the chemist basalt of staunching for bleed immunity. Now this build does require you to have at least 3 jewels with 9 to 10% all elemental resistance on them, such as this one, which has 9% to all elemental resistance, some flat energy shield and increased damage over time. I then have some other cobalt jewels with pretty much the same stats, 10% all res, 6% max ES, 10% spell damage. Same one over here, 11% spell damage, 6% max ES, 10% all res. I then have another rare jewel which just gives me some damage over time, some cast speed, some max ES and resistance. The important modifier here is corrupted blood cannot be inflicted on you, which can help with the Cyrus fight. I then have, for my unique jewels, I have a spreading rot, which helps applying wither stacks with your blight, and then obviously I have the lethal pride. Now the reason why we need all res is because my lack of resistance on gear, as well as the thread of hope reducing my elemental res by 14%. This one can go from 10% to 20%, so depending on how much you've rolled on it, you might need to stack some resistance on your jewels. Skill gem setup is fairly easy. In our helmet we have Malevolence linked with Enlighten level 4, Discipline and Flesh and Stone. Our main links are Essence Drain linked with Void Manipulation, Control Destruction, Swift Affliction, Efficacy, and as our 6th link we want to have an Empower level 3 or 4 if you can afford it. Now in our Delirium crafted gloves we want to have Blight, preferably a Val Blight, Efficacy, Control Destruction, and Infused Channeling. In our wand for our movement skill we want to have Shield Charge, Faster Attacks, Fortify Support. In our shield we want to have Tempest Shield level 1, do not level this more than level 1, Cast on Damage Taken level 1, and then for additional movement we have Flame Dash to help us get over gaps. In our boots for clear we have Contagion, Intensify, Arcane Surge, as well as Increased Area of Effect. Now when it comes to the skill tree, it's a fairly generic Essence Drain Energy Shield skill tree. What you need to do is you need to come here where usually you have the node minion instability and grab this cluster of elemental damage as well as the jewel socket, and you need to use your Lethal Pride of Kilova in here in order to get yourself glancing blows. Other than that, another thing that I can add on is, like I said in the introduction video, you need to use a Thread of Hope right here with a small ring size next to the Phase Acrobatic, and you need to grab Silent Step, Hunter's Gambit, as well as phase acrobatics. Now, the only different things about this build is that you pretty much just grab all the block nodes, such as Arcane Guarding, Mystic Bulwark, Arcane Swiftness, as well as Deflection in order to maximize your block chance. Other than that, it's a pretty generic energy shield build with chaos damage over time. Now for leveling with this build, the way I leveled with it was hybrid until around level 80 or 90. I changed to level 90 once I had all the gear set up and all the money, because I had to have a fresh start in the league and I didn't have a lot of currency at hand. What I would recommend if you have a lot of money is to just switch around level 80. If you don't have a lot of money, switch around level 90. Just grab a cheap energy shield life chest piece, a 6-link preferably. If you're looking for a unique, just get a Restless Ward. It's fairly cheap. I think it goes for around 15 to 20 chaos, and it should carry you until you respec, and possibly even after. But yeah guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and do remember that I do stream on Twitch pretty much every day but Wednesday on twitch.tv/arfinlive. You can catch me there if you have any other questions about the build or about PoE in general. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.